Good evening, Hamilton.
Hello.
Uh yeah, we got a first time guest on Kojo's Corner. I know we haven't had an episode in a long time, but if you're in Hamilton, word on the street is there's a by-election in Ward 8. There's
Mhm.
like 26, 27 candidates running.
Right?
So if you live in Ward 8, I, I hope you know who you're voting for next week. Next week is election. It's election day, and I believe this week there's also advanced polling at City Hall and other locations. So if you live in Ward 8, um, you better go out and vote,
That's
or
right.
there'll be trouble. So we have Anna with us. Hello, Anna. How are you?
Hi, I am good. How are you, Kojo?
Good, good. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, just give us, background. There's some folks that probably don't know, haven't met you.
Yeah,
So tell us a little bit about you.
that's right. My name is Anna. So I am a citizen actually of Ward 14, just a street away from Ward 8. But when I saw that the elections were happening, I was like, okay, I want to be involved because I remember vividly voting in 2022 and thinking, I don't know any of the names. Like I know the party I wanted to vote for, but I actually just didn't know who these counselors were. So I told myself, never again. I want to be, I want to put, I don't want to complain about our city. I want to put matters to my hands. So when I saw that this by election was happening, I thought, what a perfect way of getting to know the councillors, the people running. And I thought I cannot be the only person. So this is why I'm kind of I emailed all the counselors and
The
told,
candidates. The
oh my goodness, the
candidates.
candidates, people running.
Yeah. Mm.
I knew all of them, and sorry, I emailed all of them, and
Yes.
some of them, you know, declined, which was
Yeah.
very. They were very nice about it,
Yeah.
but some of them actually reached out, and I still am doing more of those interviews, and it's been quite insightful.
Yeah. And I must say I need to salute you for doing this, because I think for me this is actual democracy and civic engagement,
Mm,
right? You have a citizen, a resident of Hamilton saying there's an election and I want to know more about these candidates. And I don't think we do lots of that,
yeah,
right? And so I just wanted to say thank you very much for all the work that you're doing, because it is work. You email 26, 27 people. you
yeah,
gotta you gotta find their emails, you gotta
right,
find their Instagram, you gotta find their Facebook, you gotta find their website. Like, it's a lot of work, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so just wanted to say a big thank you.
Oh, no worries. Thank you so much for recognizing that. And it's been a lot of like 3 a.m.s going back and forth. And this date does not work for me. Can I do this? And
Yeah.
but it's been very good. So I'm glad that I was even able to do it. And my plan, it really is to do this, and then 2026 go hard and try to do a lot of the words from
Good.
1 to 15. And
Yeah.
I am planning hopefully to get there, and I think it's going to be very good.
Good, good. And for those that live in Ward 8, and again, I'm gonna give the information. So Ward 8 is the whole mountain brow,
Hmm.
Garth Street to the
Hmm.
west,
Yeah,
right? Then upper Wellington
Wellington. Yeah,
to the east, all the way down south. So if you live in any of those, if you live within that boundary, you are in Ward 8. And also for Ward 8 residents, if you don't know, we have a local journalist by the name of Joey Coleman. He also interviewed a number of the candidates. So if you do a Google search for 155 podcast Joey Coleman, you'll find all the list of interviews that he had with all of the candidates. So again, another resource that's available to you to find out about all these candidates. So before we go into some of the folks that you've spoken to, I need to let people know this is a public thing that people are watching. I know, I personally know a lot of these candidates.
Okay.
So I know I maybe let me put it this way. I know one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. Yeah, I know about 10.
Wow.
So, and I'm saying this publicly. I'm saying this publicly because some folks have asked, my thoughts about
Mm.
the election, and I've just said, hey, if you got to look at the candidates, you got to do your work. And that's why, again, when I saw that you were interviewing some of these candidates, I said, this is great, this is exactly what we need. So let's get right into it. How many candidates have you interviewed?
Right now, I have interviewed five, and I have two more on the way. And
Wow.
I think, I don't know, like some of them, they're interested now. Like, you know, I didn't, it was crickets for a while.
Mhm.
And then I heard back, but then, the 22nd is coming so fast.
Yes.
So some of them, I don't know if we'll be able to make anything happen.
Hmm.
So, give or take. But right now, altogether, I think it will be eight altogether interviewed.
Eight. Okay.
Mhm.
So, um, in your interviews, what are some of the things that has come up?
Yeah, I mean, people have been talking about the pressing issues. So housing has been huge. Affordable housing, homelessness, encampments. It's a big
Hmm.
one, and taxpayers are very not happy with how things are just going, increasing. So some
Yes.
of the people, they'll say, "Oh, I'm gonna cut taxes." It's like, what does that look like?
Okay. So let's delve into that because I think this is a thing that happens every municipal election. Everybody says they're going to cut taxes.
Yeah.
So when you asked how are you going to do that, what were some of the responses?
A lot of the times it was not a direct, clear way. Only actually there was one candidate. What was
Yeah.
his name? Who said he's not going to cut taxes? I,
Okay.
w- I think it was Frank. Frank Lenardes.
Okay.
He's a builder, right?
Okay.
So yeah, so he's saying, I know all the people are promising to cut taxes, but I that's not going to be the focus. The focus is to put the shovel on the ground. So I thought, okay, that's, maybe truthful because he's telling you what he's going to do. But some of them will say, okay, I'm going to cut taxes. But then they recognize that to cut taxes, they need to work with the other 14 councillors and the mayor. So is that going to be possible?
Yes.
So right, I think they go in with a straight head on, which I think the counselors, they go in thinking, I'm gonna make the world a better place. Hamilton is gonna be the best, and then they get there and they realize, okay, this is hard. For something to be passed, there is many people have to agree with it.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think one of the lessons that I can offer, because I've been through this, is that I think for candidates that are running, I really believe, and some may disagree, but that's fine. I really believe that you have to like have gone through or witness a budget process so that that can inform you
Mm.
of how you're going to do the cutting,
Yes.
if that is your platform, right? So usually the budget process is that city staff present a budget. Every department comes up with a list of things that These are the things they are going to work on.
Yeah.
There's staff hiring, there's capital budgets, there's a whole bunch of things, right? So they present it, and then now the counselors have to decide what are the things
Yeah.
that can be approved, what are the things that will not be approved,
Yeah.
right? And then they get to a manageable number,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when someone says they're going to cut taxes, I think your questions about the how
Yeah.
is very, very important, right? For some of the folks that are watching, the budget process right now has started, and they are already saying that there's a capital infrastructure deficit that
Yeah.
is putting back our rec centers, our parks, and
Hmm.
all of the municipal services that we all need, right? So I think it's very important for candidates to really go through that process and not just think that, you know, you wave a wand and then you're cutting bread or something like that, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that the other thing it was, I had so many questions about, okay, but how much in just the cyber attack,
Mm-hmm.
the cybersecurity attack that happened. The city is already in a deficit of what, 55 million. So because the hacker, they wanted 18.5, and they didn't pay them, because you just never know if they will want more, and you
Yeah.
it's probably wise that they didn't. But then now, to fix all the system and to make it secure, they have spent, well, they will be spending, and they have spent $55 million. So then that is taxpayer money.
Yep.
Um, and so
100%.
then it makes sense. Like, when I was doing my own research prior to actually meeting with the candidates, I was thinking, okay, I think now it makes sense why some of the taxes had to go up, because that's just one of the examples. And then the housing that got made, I forget where is that.
But
Um,
Tiffany and Barton.
Tiffany, yeah. So that's more money that got, whether you agree that they
Hmm.
should have spent that money or not,
Yes.
it was
Yes.
spent,
Yes.
and that is all on taxpayer money. So when we're cutting, what are we cutting here?
Yeah.
Are we
Yeah.
cutting for if we're not gonna do the system for the that to enhance this, so that the cybersecurity does not happen again, then our health records are in jeopardy. Which the health records and all those things, some of the zoning things, that all those papers, they're gone because of the cybersecurity, right? So give or take, you can look at it at let's cut, but to what extent are we cutting?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I see on here that we have a Ward 8 candidate. I believe Caleb has joined and said looking forward to the discussion. We have one of our regular watchers or
Mhm.
regular supporters. We got Mark Anderson, who just joined.
Right.
And then for everybody that's tuning in or watching this later, I've also put Joey Coleman's podcast link
Very good.
in the chat, so you can also access it. So you heard about cutting taxes. We've talked about that. What are some of the other things that you also heard about?
We talk about supportive housing.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, so supporting housing, and even the whole issue of homelessness. How can we tackle this? Because, oh man, you see, the other thing is that the candidates are running for 1 year, right? Like, whoever gets the counselor, they will run for 1 year, and then there'll be a re-election.
Yes.
So it was also an idea of, okay, what can you get done in a year? Because we can say all these things, but it's only 365, actually even less, because it's gonna be October. So I think for the questions about the housing, there was a lot of, okay, let's make, I think Frank was the one who was talking about, um, there's some vacant land
Hmm.
around Ward 8, and
Hmm.
let's make that, let's get that approved for building.
Hmm. Hmm.
um yeah, so but that's still more money. But
Yeah.
he wasn't promising for. His actually idea was if you make a building,
Mhm.
30% of it housing, what is it, affordable housing,
Mhm.
30% of it, then the other 70% can actually be higher than the affordable housing.
Mhm.
And when you make 30% of a building affordable housing, the
Mhm.
federal government can actually give you funding.
Mhm.
I didn't know that. That's part of some of the bureaucracy that happens with it.
Okay.
But then some of those people who are living the, let's say the 70%, they're living the luxury living. They don't want to be associated in the same building with the affordable housing. So it's like, where
Yeah.
it's
So
so easy to get the funding, but then the people maybe just don't want to be like the people who are living the luxury don't want to be in the same building. Then we're back to zero.
yeah, I think, and again, I that policy um offering,
Yeah.
right? It's an example of how I think our municipal politics also needs to be realistic,
Hmm.
right? Because, let's just say, you know, is it Frank?
Yeah, Frank. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just say Frank is hypothetically right. You find some land somewhere in Ward 8, and
Mhm.
then in that neighborhood, people are like, no, we don't want that there. Then
Yeah.
what happens, right? So I think one of the things that I hope that candidates and people that are going to vote for people to do is that I think they need to be engaged more.
Yeah.
And counselors also need to provide the right information,
Yeah.
because what happens is, and I've been to lots of town halls.
Hmm.
I used to go to John Paul Danko's town hall. I've
Hmm.
gone to Mike Spatafora's town hall.
Yeah.
I've gone to Esther Paul's town hall, and I feel like these town halls are not providing information, but
Hmm.
they are amping up talking points,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Instead of saying, "Hey, look, we this is the problem. These are some of the solutions.
Yeah.
Let's put a timeline to it and let's see if it works." But they procrastinate, will cut taxes, will stop
Hmm.
housing, will
Hmm.
build housing, will do all of these things. But in reality, nothing gets done. And
Exactly.
then we are back to square one.
Yeah.
So some of the other candidates that you spoke to, were there any other interesting points that they made about what other things are they bringing to the table?
Yeah. I'll start with maybe Caleb. He actually had a whole summer where he worked with Flourish.
Okay.
It's a company that helped. Is it Indwell? Uh, on Rice Street there, they just built like all these affordable housing.
Okay.
So yeah, so he had experience with that. It's just um, it's getting I don't know if he's able to, if he's going to be able to talk to the convince the city to get the funding for something like that. Um, I think his ideas on housing, affordable housing by that, like to remove encampments, was a good idea, way better than the what's happening at the Barton Tiffany shelter there.
Mhm, mhm,
Mhm. But is he able to get it happening? I don't know.
mhm.
Um, Another person was Ralph. Actually, Ralph didn't talk about affordable housing as much because he's a realtor. So
Okay.
he talked about the waste taxes that's happening, that's starting April 2026. I don't know. Did you know about that?
The what taxes?
So taxes are actually going up. I didn't know. So there's a new tax called waste and sewer taxes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
about that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
he was
Yes.
talking about that. He hates the idea, and he's like, I would like to not like to make sure that maybe go back and people not pay for that. But he
Mhm.
didn't have much about the affordable housing or the encampments
Okay.
much. And then who else? Anthony. Okay, Anthony. We didn't talk about affordable housing, but it was more the idea, the premise of disability,
Hmm. Okay.
and he really wants to work on going above and beyond. So when contractors and people are making restaurants or buildings or whatever, they just build to the building code, like pretty much the bare minimum that they can get. And people who are living with disabilities are realizing that it's not cutting it, and
Hmm.
he wants to go above and beyond.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I think
Yeah.
you've met Anthony, right?
Yes, I know Anthony, and I think he raises a good point because I don't know if there might be folks that are on here or folks that watch later. You
Mm-hmm.
know, every municipality is supposed to be AODA compliant in 2025,
Mm-hmm.
right? We are in 2025,
Yeah.
and some of these buildings, even including city buildings, are not even AODA compliant. And AODA, Accessibility of Ontario Disability Act, right? So I think Anthony raises a good point because we have seniors, we have elders, we have people that live with disabilities. They also need to access all the city services that the city provides. So yeah, that's definitely something that we should all be thinking about. So housing, accessibility, encampments,
Mm-hmm.
cutting
Um,
taxes.
that,
What
that
else?
even more. um, what was the other thing? I think that was, in a nutshell, that was pretty much it. I want to also talk about something that someone brought up. I think it was two people. Anthony, no, Frank talked about his mom
Hmm.
is in her 80s, almost 90s, and
Hmm.
she's living in this big house
Hmm.
by herself in Ward 8.
Hmm.
Um, and she is paying, so she has fixed income,
Hmm.
and she's paying close to $7,000 in property taxes.
Yeah.
That I thought, oh my goodness, that is crazy that she had. So maybe the house is paid off because maybe
Yeah.
she's 90 something, but then 7,000 of her income, and then in 2026 it's gonna get more by $200. That is just unattainable. So then I put that in back of my head. I thought, okay, could she go to long term care? Could she go to a retirement home? Whatever. I just thought about it, and then the next day it was like someone was reading my mind. Frank came, and then he was talking about he's in probably early 80s
Hmm.
or 70s, and he was talking about he lives in a 5 bedroomed house
Hmm.
but will not leave. Like he could go to a retirement home or could go to a long-term care, but he will not leave because he feels like he's being isolated.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's this idea that long term older people, so our seniors, we're actually isolating them by saying, okay, now you you're in your 80s, you're in your 90s, you now need to go to a retirement home, or you need to go to a long-term care. You was talking about the idea in Europe how seniors are actually living in campus university campuses, so integrating them and giving them purpose. Or another program was, so let's say that 90 something year old can actually have students live in her house, and then they can help with her daily needs for a cheaper housing.
Hmm.
I thought, okay, that could solve some of the problems that we're having right now. But it's all about, these things need to be initiated. It needs to, we need something that would make sure that it's safe for both parties, right? But I thought it was a great idea, initially just listening at it, because it's true. A lot of people are feeling isolated. They don't feel like they are included, and they're just existing now.
Mhm.
That brings a lot of depression, um, to their lives. And if their children are living far away, then they're not really seeing anyone. You know.
Mhm. Mhm.
Hmm.
And this is what I mean by we need people engaged in municipal politics, right? What you just outlined there cannot be solved by uh, uh, a single platform.
Yeah.
And I think it's also speaking to the fact that the way our municipalities are run in Canada has also is also outdated. And I'll give you an example. So right now in Hamilton, everybody is saying taxes are going up. We can't afford this, blah blah blah, da 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 da, which is all true and real.
Yeah.
But the reality too is that because in Hamilton we do not have a large commercial tax base, majority of the taxes that our city is collecting comes from residential,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So then, yes, so then what happens is that every time there's an increase, the increase is high and there's no influx of new revenue
Mhm.
from non-residential folks.
Yeah.
So that's like one problem. So we have a outdated tax model that
Yeah.
is supporting municipal services, and also our provincial government, who's responsible for municipal services, is also not providing the necessary funding
Yeah.
to municipalities.
Yeah.
So then what you have is this like um this colliding force of
Yeah.
like, yes, people are struggling, their taxes are going up and they can't pay for it, like that 90-year-old woman who has
Mhm.
fixed income. It's fixed rent, retirement,
Yeah.
CPP, that's it.
Yeah.
But then their property taxes keep going up this way, this way, this way, and so they are being squeezed out due to the
Mhm.
isolation. Now they're trying to figure out, do I sell my house, go to a long-term care? And also there's also problems with long-term care. We can't just say, oh yes, there's a long list of people waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting.
Exactly.
So when I think about counselors and people that are running, I also want them to like think about, how do we address these problems? What
Yeah.
are some of the creative ways to address this problem? I don't know. Uh, back in 2022, one of the things that we were talking about is that maybe, and I'm giving this for free because
Yeah.
I said it in 2022 anyway, so I'm giving it out for free. Is that for seniors, we should cap the amount of property taxes that they are paying,
Yeah.
right? We should cap it, and then we should also think about the services that they need. So I'll give you an example: public transit, because when seniors need to go to doctor's appointments, how do they get there? We
Yeah.
have darts.
Yeah.
That's the public system that seniors and folks with disability use. So I think those are some of the things that we can do in the interim. But in the long term,
Yeah.
it's like there's no money in the bank, but we're squeezing everybody. So
Mhm.
everybody just gets annoyed, and you hear that, and you're not hearing the solutions, but
Yeah.
you're hearing the frustrations.
Exactly. And me and Anthony, we talked about darts. We both have some experience with darts, but he more than I.
Yeah.
I am a nurse, so I sometimes take patients places, and
Hmm.
it's good that it's affordable. It's same as taking a bus, but they'll tell you, we'll come 30 minutes before
Yes.
or 30 minutes after. So you're either really late for your appointment
Or
or
very
really
early.
early. And it's not a, we chuckled here, but it's not a laughing matter
No.
if for someone who's, if this is their livelihood.
Yeah.
I probably only experience it here and there, taking a patient here and there, but this is their own livelihood. And I think, Anthony, this is his second time running, and
Yep.
he now feels like this is like, how did he say it? It's not a choice. It's like it's a mandate that he needs to run so that he can stand up for people who are like him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing we talked about was unemployment and crime.
Okay.
It came up a couple times with some of the candidates, and the what was some of it that was happening was we've had so much unemployment. This is the whole country, but I think also if I think this was Caleb was saying
Mm-hmm.
um, it's also because our crime is going up because people do not have jobs. So if you give people a sense of purpose, then they will, crime will go down. So how do we do this?
Mm-hmm.
So Caleb had some one of his ideas. I didn't write it down, so right now I'm drawing a blank. But I think it was Frank. He is a builder. His father was a builder, and now he's in his 70s, 80s, and so he's not able to build anything himself. But he's saying, "I have the head knowledge. So why
Mm-hmm.
don't we get all these youth who do not have employment?" And when we get approval from the city and whatever, then all these people who do not have um, employment, they can learn from a group of retirees um, how to build, and then they actually build some of the buildings and the ideas that he has about affordable housing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I like that he had a solution to that, because if we just say, oh, we need to get crimes down, we need to get people employed, how do we get them employed?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean those are all things that people have been talking about. I think, crime. I how do I even say it? I don't know. Did you see one of the candidates um who was in a Batmobile?
Was it yesterday?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
maybe this week. So
yeah. I saw them. I saw them, and then um, uh, I think we also had an ice cream truck, and we thought, oh, is that the ice cream truck? We go out and we see their name, and we're like,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah, so there was a candidate that was in a Batmobile, and they said, Batman is not real, but crime is real.
yeah.
And he said, I will, stop this. And I think, this goes back to again what we've been talking about this evening. It's like enough with the talking points, like how do you get crime down? And also, I would argue, and maybe I might be out of 10 here, but I'll still say it, is that like city councilors um, don't provide jobs, right? Employers provide jobs,
Yeah.
right? So even if the argument is that I will do X, I have to ask, like, all right, how are you going to employ people?
Mhm.
Right? If you can't employ people, then how do you say you are the one that's going to address the problem? Right?
Right.
And I think with crime, uh that it's multifaceted. There's never one thing. There's, yes, people don't have jobs, but then there's also the fact that you know wages have been stagnated,
Yeah.
right? So the cost of a one bedroom apartment is higher than you could even work for in 2 weeks.
Inflation. Yeah.
Exactly. So the stagnation of wages and the rampant increase in the expenditures of everybody, whether you pay property taxes or whether you pay rent or whatever it is that you are doing,
Yeah.
that it's not mathing.
Yeah.
So other people are finding other ways to make up for that difference, right? So I think some of the discussion also needs to be had about how much are we paying people, right? minimum wage only goes up by this much every year.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody is working 40 hours at McDonald's or at KFC
Yeah.
and they can't pay their rent, can you, like, how then do you think people can survive when they are, maybe on disability,
Yeah.
or they've been working factory work and they
Yeah.
had an incident and now their back doesn't function? Like, there's just so many things. So I think it's not just about I will fix crime.
Yeah.
If who everybody wants to eliminate crime.
Believe me, and the mayor is probably scratching their head thinking, how is that going to be possible? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I would say that, like, again, it's not about the frustrations, it's about the solutions. And
Mm-hmm.
so, while Ward 8 folks are sifting through all of these candidates, I would say that they should move beyond the talking points, because then they will get disappointed when whoever is elected can't do the thing that they said they are going to do.
Yeah.
And I would also add, like, everybody is saying 8.9% increase and everybody's angry. I'm angry, everybody's angry.
Mhm.
But 8.9% and maybe 7.5 might reduce, but uh the whole amount is
Yeah.
still an increase.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So even when somebody then comes and says, I'm going to reduce or I'm going to cut taxes, I think the question shouldn't be, oh, yeah, I agree with you. It should be, how do we get them and what are the things you're going to do?
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned this too. You also have to realize there's 14 other people and the mayor that you also have to contend with. And
Mhm.
they also have their own ideas of how to reduce taxes or whatever it is. So I think one of the other questions that people should be asking too is, how are you going to work with 14 other people and a mayor who
Yeah.
maybe you might disagree with?
Exactly. Yeah. And
Right.
the whole Ralph and I talked about like removing the politics out of it and working together. I guess like because some of the people who are already in there, maybe you already know this counselor is, let's say, conservative. This one is liberal. And with things that just happened, let's say last week, I won't say what it is. I'm sure you would know. You saw a divide between the left and the right, and then these are people now, you know they disagree on these big issues, and now they have to sit down on a table and work together. That is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good that some of the candidates already have relationship with some of the counselors already, but still, it's gonna be hard either way. And I think whoever wins, they're just gonna have to be realistic and say, I cannot deliver on everything that I promised people. And but hopefully people will be transparent enough. I think that the other thing is transparency. Like sometimes, like, you vote someone in, and then they get in and they're nowhere to be found
Yeah.
besides their phone number on their Instagram or or the city website. So
Yeah, I want to pick up on the word transparency. I'll give you an example. I've seen a couple of videos. I won't mention candidates because I feel like at this point there's 26 of them. I'm sure
oh,
some of them have said something. Like, I've seen videos where they're like, "Look at these roads, I'll fix it."
yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Great. We all want. Yeah. My car. Sometimes I'm like, I'm dodging potholes and what. But it's like, if we're being transparent, roads are fixed based on capital project schedules,
Mhm.
right? So you go and stand at the corner of, like, South Bend and
Yeah.
Garth. There's
Mm.
some ugly pothole there, and you say, I'll fix the roads. I get what you're trying to say, but, like, that piece, that section there is not even on the docket to be fixed in this year, right? So how are you like, and that's what I mean by transparency. Every year there's a capital infrastructure schedule that says, in this ward, this is what we're going to work on, this is what we're going to do, this is what speed bump is going to happen here, right? But
Yeah.
councillors don't share that with their constituents because they use it as a carrot and a stick, right? During right before an election, you see that this road is fixed, this speed bump has been put in, this park has been fixed, right? So instead of just saying, hey, everybody in Ward 8, everybody in whatever ward, this is the project,
Yeah.
right? Tell
Yeah.
me which ones you want me to prioritize. Then now let me go and say, okay, in the Buchanan neighborhood, people at the intersection of Bendemeer and X Street, they are clamoring for this stop sign, blah 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 blah. In Bonneton neighborhood, at West Third and this intersection, people are saying this. They don't have regular meetings.
Yeah.
They only come once or every 4 months or every 6 months, and then they animate everybody. And then they also, there's another thing that, and you see this, if you tune in, every counselor blames someone else for the problem. They never say, I did this. It's
Yeah.
always somebody else, right?
Yeah.
So that word transparency, I think, is really, really important. Of like, hey, I'm going to be elected. I want to have meetings with you. I want to have town halls with you.
Mhm.
This is what's happening. These are the things that I can change. These are the things that I cannot change. These
Right.
are the things that you need to talk to your MPP about. These are the things that you need to talk to your MP about.
Right.
But we're not doing that, and we just build up everybody's frustrations, right?
Mhm.
So I think that's also one of the things that maybe folks that are tuning in and watching this later, like when the candidates come and knock at your door, like ask them, how are you going to be transparent to me?
Yeah.
How are you going to let me know that, the park that is by my house, right, it's not scheduled for any improvements in 15 years or 20 years? Because those are some of the cycles,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
then they'll say, oh, the tax increase and these guys are spending the money, it's not my fault, da 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 da. And I really think counselors need to start being honest.
Yeah.
Even if they're going to get some blowback, they should just be honest,
Mhm.
instead of just riding people along, right?
In your experience, the townhouse, I haven't been there because I'm like, is anything good gonna come out of it? But that is my own directive and problem. I do need to work on that. In your experience, do they help? Like when you go there?
I think on some level they help because like you can the counselors bring information. But what happens is that the ones that have been, they invite city staff, right? City staff does a presentation, right? And then uh the people that are there just like argue about stuff. The counselor says, yeah, 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 it's not my fault, all the it's all the tax and spend counselors, right? It's not me,
Oh
right?
man.
So they do that at these meetings, and I think because they are not regular meetings, and
Mhm.
also there's a challenge that not everybody can make the meeting.
You're right.
If you have a young family, you gotta do dinner, you gotta do all the other things, get ready for work. So when a counselor does a town hall from like 7 to 9, realistically, can you attend,
Yeah.
right? So that's why I always say, I think, like, counselors and the mayor and whoever, MPPs, MPs, they need to have regular meetings so
Yeah.
that now families can be like, okay, every third Thursday of or every 2 months, the third Thursday, this counselor is having a meeting. So
Right.
now you can schedule your whole time and make sure that, okay, I will go to this meeting, or if I need something, this is a place for me to go to
Go.
go to,
Yeah.
right? And that is not done. I have not seen any counselor that does that on a regular basis,
Yeah.
right? And also provides information. But I think people should go. Um, I think there's a budget meeting tomorrow, Thursday, at Sackville,
Mm.
from, is it 3:30 to 5? I forget. And they're going to be talking about the budget, right?
Right.
So that's something that I think people should go to, because if I can share this every time, the um city staff present the budget, you know uh when counselors are there, they rarely say we are cutting. They say the cutting after after the city staff have have left. So I think when you go, you will
Hmm.
see that dynamic, and now you can ask pertinent questions and real questions, and not just get into the talking points, which I
Right.
feel does a disservice of like actually doing the work that we need to do.
Exactly. Wow. That's really good. I think people are just not in tune with what's happening in the city. Um, and they almost needs to be that bridge, like putting the two together.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's the job of a counselor.
Yeah.
You are the bridge to municipal and local government. So
Right.
when they don't do that, then now that course of information is missed, right? So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we've had a great conversation. I think this is a mix of, analysis of all the Ward 8 candidates, at least those that spoke to you. Can you
Right.
tell us, are there any scheduled um, talks that we should be aware of for this week? We can share that so that folks can tune in on your Instagram.
Yeah, this week I do have one on Friday.
Okay.
Um, I'm just gonna get out of my screen here and just make sure I have the name correctly. Give me a second. On Instagram.
So
Marlon
while we're
Picken.
waiting, oh, okay, okay, that's good. Yeah,
Hello.
yeah, yeah. I'm here.
Marlon Picken. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
good.
he's one Friday, and then Lohifa. I think she will be
Okay,
my closing show probably on Saturday.
okay.
Um,
Saturday.
she we had a date, and then she something came up, so we're just getting the time tuned perfectly. But those two, and then there's some people who are now reaching out. We'll see if our schedules will collide. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. So can you tell us the Instagram handle where people can find you so that they can watch the upcoming ones and the ones that you've done with Frank, Caleb, Ralph. Did I miss anyone else?
Anthony.
Oh, and
Anthony.
Anthony. Yes. Yeah.
Um, so though so I have two under the radar Hamilton, but that's where the lives were supposed to run, but then it does not have 1,000 followers. So
Yes.
so then I learned fast, and I had to do it in my personal jewelry page. I have a side hobby that I make jewelry,
Okay.
so that one is where we're holding the lives, and then we end up cutting everything and we put it in the under the radar. So
Okay.
I would say under the radar underscore Hamilton would be the best place to get the information, I would say.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, we'll definitely share that, push it out. Those of you that are on Instagram, I know some folks that are watching that I know are on Instagram. So please go and follow under the radar underscore Hamilton, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Wow.
And start watching those videos.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. I've learned a lot by just talking to you.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I have the AODA stuff to look into. Just I'm learning a lot. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
appreciate this time.
this is what it's for. So before we sign off, I have some information. If you're Ward 8, um, Monday, September 15th to Friday, polling hours are 10 a.m. to 4, and you can vote at City Hall, room
Right.
192 and 193. They're the same room. So again, Monday, September 15th, that's this week, September 15th
That's right.
to Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Downtown here, City Hall, 71 Main Street West. We got Roberta Borgi, who says Terry Whitehead all the way. More power to you. Um, and then that's what democracy is about.
That's right.
Everybody gets to pick their candidate.
Right.
And then on Saturday, September 20th, and Sunday, September 21st, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Mohawk College, 135 Fennel Avenue West, and then St. Charles Adult Education,
Mhm.
150 East 5th Street, and then Westmount Rec Center at the gym, 35 Lynbrook Drive, and then Dave Undercheck Mountain Arena, 25 Hester, and then the courtyard at the Marriott, 1224 Upper James, the community room. You can vote there. And then final chance to vote
Yeah.
Monday, September 22nd from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Westmount 35 Lynbrook Drive, Dave Underchuck Mountain Arena 25 Hester, and then the up Courtyard Marriott 1224 Upper James Street. So that's all the information about polls. If you want to vote early so that you don't forget on Monday, or or Monday is busy, you know, please do so. City Hall again, all up to Friday. You got the options on Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday. And then I think we'll find out who the next Ward 8 counselor is right about 10 p.m., 11 p.m. There you go.
That's awesome. Uh, there is really no excuse why people cannot vote this time. I felt like there is people just know more about it. The candidates are going to each house, knocking at the doors. So I really hope that this time around, all the 40,000 citizens, that will get a lot of people coming to vote.
Yeah. Yeah. So go out and vote. I see Roberta is all the way. Terry, vote Terry. Hi. Thank you. Enjoy your night. Yeah. Enjoy your night too.
Very
And
nice.
and then Mark Anderson, go Terry. Yeah. Everybody gotta say, all you gotta do is just go out and vote. That's all we're concerned about.
Kojo, maybe 2026. Maybe you'll run for 114. I don't know.
We'll get there when we get there.
Okay.
Right now is September 2025. That's what we're concerned about.
Yeah.
So there we go. All
Don't
right.
worry. I'll be sitting here interviewing you next time.
We'll see. We'll see. Well, thank you everyone. Those that tuned in, I appreciate you. I know we had to move the time, and you still ended up tuning in at 8:30. So we really
Thank
appreciate you. I don't know when the next episode will be, but just stay tuned. You can follow us on our Instagram, Kojo's Corner Ham Aunt, to get further details. And thank you everyone. And again, big shout out to Anna for all the work that you've done this by election, and we hope you continue to stay involved, and we'll see what you come up with next.
thank you so much. I appreciate the time.
Okay, all right. Take care, everyone.